following program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.
Welcome to Fairy Tale Access. Together, we will unravel the heroes, young and old, who turn dreams into reality. These are the people who still believe in fairy tales. Hi, welcome to Fairy Tale Access. Today, my guest is Stacy McTherian, and she is the maker of Fairy Houses by Stacy, a new trend, something to do with the kids this autumn. Lots of things to collect. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Did I pronounce your last name correctly?
It's McTiernan.
McTiernan.
That's okay.
Sorry. So how are you today?
I'm well. How are you?
Good. This is fantastic.
Thank you so much.
How did you get started?
This was something that I've always been artistic and painted and drawn, and my employer had mentioned about getting fairy houses in, and I wasn't quite sure what a fairy house even was. And so when my children and I went to the library, I took the time to look up what a fairy house was, and the pictures and the illustrations, I was like, I want to try one. I could do it. I wanted to try. It was a new thing, a new challenge. And ever since then, they've just been coming together for me, and it really seems to be something that I thoroughly enjoy and I'm good at. But each house is so different, and it's relaxing. It allows me to become a child again through an adult body.
And you have children, right?
Yes. We have 6 children together, my husband and I. So
do they help out?
they would like to, but I don't want that. So sometimes,
this is your own project.
Yeah, sometimes I will let them divulge in my stash, but for the most part, this is my thing. But they are very sweet and giving, and they do find special treasures for me to add to my houses. So, but they also help with the imagination of the house, what it's going to turn into. My oldest was the one who gave me the idea. This one's called the Clubhouse. So she gave me the idea for this one. Another one of my children, we developed the chapel. And then my youngest daughter, it was the medicine hut. So, and they're all on my Facebook page, Fairy Houses by Stacy. So you can see.
Fantastic.
Yes, thank you.
So where did this desire come from? What did you find out about fairy houses in your search?
Well,
Have they been around for a while?
They've been actually around for a long time, and I didn't realize how known they were. Like, they're very popular in Maine, in the New England area. But what I have found through the internet was that the settlers used to use fairies to protect their livestock and their crops. And so they would build these homes for them, for the winters, to protect them and to keep them safe as a return favor. So that is the story that I have found about the fairy houses and how they came about.
Wow. That's a great idea.
Yeah, it's a very sweet idea.
I wonder if they brought it over from the countries that they came from.
Maybe. It's possible. It's possible. That part I didn't dig far enough into, but I'm sure.
So what kind of materials do you use? I see acorns, a little moss. How do you preserve it? Is it all highlighted with a shellac after it's done, or?
I try to use polyurethane to protect the bark and stuff. Sometimes, it just depends. I've used decoupage, but I don't use shellac yet. I haven't. I'm still
What's the shiny finish?
that one is the decoupage glue. because the wood was really soft. I was afraid that polyurethane wasn't going to be strong enough, so I did decoupage that one a little bit. And I use just a bark that I find never cut anything down from anywhere. I never pick anything off any bush or tree. It's purely on the ground, and then it's cleaned, and then, like I said, I spray it with the polyurethane. But I find just native trees in, New Hampshire. I use seashells that were, brought to me by family or friends, from either Hampton Beach or in Florida. And there's some items that I've used that have been recycled items. So like sometimes I'll find like just at consignment shops, I'll find pieces that really intrigue me. And so I'll use them also incorporated with my fairy houses. I've used beads, again, the shells, the moss. Some of this is actually incense potpourri that I had found that I just loved the textures of everything and how different it was. And some of these, if I may just turn this just a little bit. This here on the inside, again, this is part of the potpourri that I found and the beads. And then I try to make different chairs with the acorn tops and stuff, plates. I've also used feathers. Feathers are fun because it just gives it that beautiful Native American look to it. And some stone, sometimes flat stones as a base. Sometimes I've used them as tabletops. It just, it just depends. Sometimes, it's like a beautiful puzzle being put together for me.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
So if
thank you.
families were working on it with their kids, what are the main tools that they need?
Oh, so simple. Just, again, acorns. You can use leaves, bark. Again, like I don't recommend taking from any trees or anything. I found an old cork one time that has been weathered. So any little treasures really that, kids can find with their parents. It's a fun activity to do as a family, and their creations are their own, and, you can put them outside. I don't know how long they will last if they're not treated correctly. So we keep ours inside. But it's nice to bring a little bit of nature inside because not everyone can do that either. Not everyone is in the position where they have nature available that they're outdoors. But
Absolutely.
yeah, fun.
So do you just use regular Elmer's glue to put it together? Do you need
No,
a glue gun?
a glue gun is the fastest way for it to adhere. And actually, because you have the glue gun so much, I've been using it as a tool to sometimes push and press things the way that I want it to look. So it's
that's
definitely
great.
become my right-hand man. Yeah. So, and some like I make ladders for. Others, like I love finding the bark and putting it down, like laying the bark down instead of standing it up. Those are my favorite, again, because of the Native American look to it. And I've used burlap as blankets and just sweet little
great.
things like, again, you have to put yourself in that child, like state. And you think as a child, what would a fairy like? What, and it's a lot of fun. Again, it's a place to kind of get away from everything else that's going on at that moment. And, you're just that sanctuary. That's
Absolutely.
little
And
fairy
you're giving
sanctuary.
classes in the area. So
Yes. The class that's coming up is going to be held at Ancient Moon on October 6th, 1 to 3 o'clock. It's called A Mommy and Me, but it could be Daddy and Me or just a mommy or dad, or, it doesn't, it's open to whoever. So it's someone that's interested in just building.
it would be good for trolls too, right?
Yes, there's another local artist, and I apologize, I don't know her name, but she makes gnome homes. And they're also at Birch in Nashua, and I also have houses in Birch and Nashua. They're beautiful. They're beautiful.
And do you custom make the houses for people as well?
Yes, actually, I will be doing one for this holiday season for someone that I know that had asked. And actually, we're going to be building it around one of the gem trees that she had gotten for her mother. So very excited. And, you know, anytime, someone wants anyone custom made, they can definitely email or, again, just message me through Facebook and give me, kind of specific things that they would like to see in the house, and I would love to do that. Absolutely. It's a new
So-
challenge because it's not my own, you're creating for someone else now. So
That's fantastic.
Yeah,
And
thank
what's
you.
your Facebook site again, just so people
that's
know?
okay. It's Fairy Houses by Stacy. So very simple, but you can see different various fairy
I-
houses on there.
Oh, that's true. But just because Stacy is spelled a couple of different
Yeah, oh,
ways.
yes. Always forget. It's Stacy.
CY,
Yes.
okay. So continue, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's okay. That's okay.
So you give regular updates on what you're doing and where you're going to be on that site.
Yes, and I'm also interested in branching out and starting to do parties. So if anyone is absolutely interested in booking a fairy house party, I would
That
be
would be
more.
great for a birthday party.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. So, or just because, especially with the cold season coming and everyone's kind of stuck in the house, it'd be a perfect time to do that.
Absolutely. That's a fun project.
Yeah, and I'll bring all the materials. It'll be all included in the cost, so I'll worry about the muss and the fuss, and then they can just set us up with a space, and
Oh,
be a
great.
good
And how
time.
much space do they need? Are they all big? Or when you do the parties, are they a little smaller?
They
more
would have to be smaller, only because of time-wise, and then again, I would assume more parties would probably be booked for children than adults, so it's easier to keep it short and sweet. I would say, I would say maybe a little smaller than this one here.
So like a
but
room.
a
They could
little
make
bit.
fairy rooms.
Yeah, exactly. That is like, this one is one of the largest ones that I have done. There are some that I just do the room. That's why, very simple to do a little bed out of a seashell or some kind of net or hammock. But one room, and again, it's like the kid ones are going to be a little bit more blingy too, because this is more natural looking in a sense where, we'd have the glitter and we'd have the little mirrors and the shiny and the beads and stuff, because that's, again, what fairies like. They like the glitz and
course,
glamour. They like
attracted to
shiny.
glitter and
That's right. They like the
shiny.
shiny. So that's what we would work on. So,
That's great.
yes.
So how many people would be good for a party that size?
You
Do you
know,
suggest 6 or 8?
I would say no more than 8.
No more
I
than
think 8 is probably a good size. Again, depending if you're dealing with adults or you're dealing with children, I think as children-wise, I think 8 is a sufficient amount. And I'm sure with adults we could do a little bit more because they are capable of gluing their own things.
You hope so.
Right, I know. That's
That's
true.
funny. Well, what are some of the remarks that you get from having those group get-togethers? What do people say?
The best part, I have to say, that just warms my heart is when I have, my children or people that come into the shop to, look at my fairy houses, when they say, oh my gosh, they're so beautiful. I just want to shrink down and live inside, and I just want to be a fairy. It just means so much to me, because it's better than getting it hung on your refrigerator. It's just such a compliment.
Absolutely.
And as an artist and developing and everything, it's that self-confidence that you need to keep going and striving for the next thing. So it's definitely beautiful
Wow,
and
so what-
inspiring.
It is. So what is your background?
Well, again, you know that I'm a mother of 6 and a wife. I've done a little bit of everything job-wise, but I have to say, of course, being a mom is my favorite job. But I just reached a place where I think I've just utilized things. Like I've worked at a home improvement place before. I've done design work. So I'm just in a place right now where I'm happy and I'm just developing myself as a woman and finding, my thing as, bringing my children up too. But I've just really come into my own. So it's
Yeah, so they're a
wonderful.
little older now, so you can
A little
find
bit, yeah.
time for you.
Exactly. A little bit of time.
I know. Well, you go from being single to being married to being somebody's wife to being somebody's mom, and then you need to define who you are.
Exactly. And this is my getaway, so it's nice.
It is a fantastic getaway.
Oh, thank you
too.
very much. And you know what, time-wise, honestly, like something like this could take, a larger one up to a week because it's just the prep and getting it, set and finding, again, it's pieces. Like I've never had a plan for any of them, and I love that. I love that there's never a plan, and the pieces just come together, like I said, like a beautiful puzzle. And, a smaller one can take a couple of hours. So it just really depends. Right now I have 2 going on that I bounce back and forth. But when like things aren't fitting together for one, then I just put it aside and then go back to the other one. And it's just nice. It's a casual pleasure. So
That is. And you're recycling.
yes.
Is that something that your household is really big into?
Yes, recycling. We do try to recycle as much as we can because we have a lot to recycle. But it's always like I said, my kids are my best because they always find things for me to use. And we could be walking to an appointment, and one of them just looks down. Hey, Mom, you can use this for your fairy houses. My son just found something, and it was some kind of seed that was cut in half, but it looks just like an owl. And I'm like, this is awesome. I'm like, thank you so much. So that will be on one. That will be on one. But it has to be special. One that will be out in the focus in the center there. So
I know, and it's amazing the creativity behind it. I mean, using acorns to make seeds and rose petals to make little tables.
it's a lot of fun, and the dried flower might be a table on this one, but it might be part of a roof on the next one, and that's the fun thing, and none of them ever look the same, and
So do dried flowers in general work well with this project?
they do actually. One of the ones I'm doing now, I used rosebuds that I had found, and there's a beautiful little herb called Life Everlasting, and so I've made a wreath on the front of another one out of the rosebuds and the Life Everlasting.
What does the Life Everlasting look like?
Oh, it's just beautiful. It kind of looks like a baby's breath, but in the spiritual sense behind it too, you put it by a picture of a couple, and it's supposed to help with the longevity of your marriage and a healthy relationship. So it's kind of nice to have the rose, and it's like a little love, a little love
there's
wreath.
little stories behind the whole thing.
Just little things, and I do use sometimes. I do love the healing crystals and stones. So sometimes, like I'll find little chips that I like to incorporate with them. The ones again that I just am very in love with, the little Native American looking ones. Like I like to use, sodalite chips or something that's calming because it's just so calming to look at.
Jade or amber.
Very pretty. But the seashells, I actually made a business card holder out of the seashells too. So it's endless. The possibilities are endless. So
That's fantastic. That makes it fairy tale accessible.
Exactly.
And a walnut for a little baby's crib. Oh, and the
yeah,
feather
they
really
need something at the
softens-
clubhouse too.
Absolutely. And so you'd also like to do volunteer work, I understand?
Yes, I was very fortunate that I was able to get in touch with someone, thank you very much, at the Nashville Public Library, and I do have one donated there. It's one of the first ones. I think it's like the second one that I ever made. It's a 2-story one, and it's donated to the children's department there. So yes, and I did get a chance to speak to them. So next time that they do have the classes there, I said, I absolutely want to volunteer to help out, but also hoping to get involved with other organizations to, donate time and to just build the houses with the children or, adults, special needs. It doesn't matter. I just want everyone to feel fulfilled in that warmth in their heart that I feel when I make them.
That's fantastic. So places like Dana-Farber could reach out and contact you, Make-A-Wish.
Absolutely.
The Shriners Hospital for Children, which
Yes.
we're going to try to visit.
I hope so.
And then you just sit and build fairy houses with them, and
That's right. Just allow them to just feel mystical and magical and just to enjoy being a child and losing everything around them and just putting everything into that little house.
when you do the classes, what do people talk about when they're doing it? Do they get all dreamy-like state? I imagine I would.
I would, but I don't know if they would. I think, honestly, I think in a class setting, if there's anything that I can ever tell anyone, it's to relax. Relax and just have fun with it because, of course, we all want it to look so perfect, but it doesn't have to be. It's just your creation, so just have fun with it.
So you could if you had a class, is it an hour or two, and can they actually make a room in an hour or two?
I would say 2 hours would probably be the best to make a room. Other than that, just an enclosed fairy house, I would say an hour, just to decorate like you would a gingerbread house or something to that nature. But 2 hours is sufficient.
Okay. And you travel to people's homes to do
will.
it?
Absolutely.
And did we miss anything? Just want to make sure. Is there anything else we didn't cover that we
I
should
think
add?
we did cover everything. Absolutely.
And you refuse to cut down anything.
No, I won't. I won't cut down anything. And yes, I sell my fairy houses, but I just never want it to be about the money. So I will never cut down anything.
That's good.
Never, not even a leaf. I won't pick a leaf.
So the fall must be a great time for collecting.
Yes, and it's nice because I get to take walks with my family and we find things. And like I said, my kids are the
Good
best.
way to
because-
open a conversation so people could start collecting.
Mm-hmm.
Are there anything that they should do to dry the products or to preserve them?
You know
if
what?
They weren't saving them for a party.
What I have done is just sometimes I'll leave it out because, of course, finding bark on the ground, a lot of times there is moisture. So, I check it over real good because sometimes our little friends are in there. So if it's not so bad, then I'm like,
Well, with 6 kids, I'm sure they track in a lot of things.
so yes, mostly rocks, thank God. So no critters.
No critters. Please,
Not
no
in.
critters.
No, so, but I just try to clean it off. And then, like I said, I'll spray it with polyurethane. And, fortunately
So
this
you
summer.
spray it before you do it?
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
that's a great idea.
Yeah.
And that should really preserve any critters right in there.
Yes, fossils, right?
Fossils are
right? Eventually. But yeah, so it's just polyurethane. And then, I'll just do a couple of coats of that. And then once, they're dry and that strong smell has gone away, then I'll bring them into the house and work them. But I do, then you can just put them away. And when you're ready, you can pick through, like I said, and pull them out. Yeah.
And also you said in an earlier conversation we had that people could start with the little models of birdhouses and add to them.
Yes, a great way to start is the birdhouses, and I've done that with my kids too. They like to paint them and stuff, and then you can get the raffia which is like a straw-like material, a soft straw-like, and of course, who doesn't have seashells somewhere or know someone that wants to get rid of some? So, and it's so simple, because it's just such a cost-effective little project to do with the kids. But everything you need is right outside your door. So, but
I love it.
the birdhouses they can paint and then just add whatever rocks, just acorn. They can make acorn roof, anything And again, the other fun treasure hunting is at the consignment shop. So something that is being recycled or,
Antique jewelry.
Yes, yeah, everything. I had an old placemat that I totally pulled apart to use to build one of them, and just little things like, ribbons. And if I have a vision for something, then I keep it. And then maybe I don't use it right away, but I know I will. And that's how it really, same thing. Matchboxes. My favorite thing that I just did with my kids is I was reading about little fairy donuts that you can on Pinterest is great. So you can get great ideas too on Pinterest for fairy houses. But you take little Cheerios and you just kind of dip it in honey and then dip it in cinnamon. So it looks like a little powdered donut, and my kids just love. So a little fun
so
thing
cute,
too to do
yeah.
at parties and everything. So they absolutely loved it.
I bet they did.
They
That's
did.
great.
But you can save the little matchboxes, matches
Oh, and
like
make fairy
anything.
beds.
Exactly. Like I'm sure some of us will remember the Littles, the cartoon when we were
that's true.
kids. Some of us remember, but like the little things that they had where they used buttons or little things like that. Like this is the little treasures that you can add to the houses. So
Absolutely.
you can go around and finding sequins or beads, and that's what we took. We take
So
little
what was
things.
your favorite story growing up?
My favorite story?
Or your favorite story now? What do you like to read?
Don't get much time to read, but I have to say one of my favorite authors is Shel Silverstein. And The Giving Tree is one of my favorite books that he did.
Such a good book.
Yeah. So I have to say, other than that, don't laugh, but like my favorite thing, and I saw it as a kid, so it just was a movie that always stuck with me, was The Sound of Music.
Oh, that
So maybe
is
it's that
great.
whimsical thing.
Absolutely.
I'm not sure, but yeah, it always stuck with me, so don't laugh.
No, that's fantastic. Well, it's always interesting to find out what people read, what motivates them.
yeah.
It gives other people ideas.
And I think that too, it's the personality, because inside, of course, I have that little girl still, who's there, and and I don't ever want to lose that.
Exactly. Nobody wants to really grow up.
No,
We need a little escape from responsibility once in a while.
exactly.
So again, if people need to contact you, the best way to do that is at your Facebook site right now, which is
Fairy Houses by Stacy, spelled Stacy. And you could also email me at fairyhousesbystacy@gmail.com.
perfect.
So either
right.
way.
Well, it's definitely a new trend, and you're doing a great job
Oh,
with
thank
it.
you so much. Thank you.
My pleasure. And if you need more information or you want to contact Stacy for your nonprofit group or a party, check her out on Facebook or email her at Stacy or Stacy's.
Fairyhousesbystacy@gmail.com.
See, I got so interested in the product, I lost my train of thought. Until next time, keep asking questions. And this is a great project to do with your kids. We'll see you soon. Thank you, Stacy.
Thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure.
The preceding program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.